Today we are going to be talking about a quick and easy way that you can find out which treats are your dog's favorite and which are their least favorite. We'll also be talking about when to use each treat and for which situations you should be using them in. If you're new here, hi, I'm Blythe, and I'm the head trainer and founder of Delta Tails. Hello friends, I get asked all the time, what treats should I be using in this situation? Or what treats should I be using in that situation? And the answer is, I don't know, because every dog is different and every dog has different preferences. So today I'm going to show you a really easy way to figure out which treats are your dog's favorite and which are their least favorite. So to do that, we are going to set up a simple taste test. It's really fun. And all you need are your phone, a Sharpie, some cups or plates that are disposable, and something to film with. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start, you're going to pick out about 8 to 10 different types of treats. Now, you can pick what you have at home, what you typically use with your dog, and you want to go up and down the value spectrum. So you want to use some fruits, your dog's kibble, some higher value things like cheese and meat, those sorts of things, so that you really have the whole range of treats that you would give your dog. Once you have those ready, you're going to make 2 little cups or containers with a small amount of each treat inside. And you're going to label them with the name or an abbreviation of each treat. So I have a cup with a little Taffy's treat inside. That's a treat brand. I have a carrot. I have kibble, a banana, a little piece of turkey, some string cheese. Ooh, we're gonna try not to drop those. An apple, and a couple chunks of basically dog jerky. So these are all treats and foods that I had laying around the house, and treats and foods that I would typically use with both of my dogs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set them all up about 2 feet away from each other, all in a line. We're gonna let our dogs go and eat, and we're gonna record which one is eaten first, all the way up to the last one. We're going to repeat this experiment twice, and then we're going to compare the results. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set up and then bring in Mr. Melvin. So you can see now that I've got all of my little treats lined up in the back wall. As he's eating, I will be picking up the cups so that I know which order he ate them in, and I also have the video to look back on if I forget. So we're going to go ahead and get Melvin now. For taste test number 2, and I'm going to lay out the same container on the ground right out in front. now that we've done our taste test, I have the cup that Melvin ate out of first, down at the bottom, all the way up to the last one at the top. So the first thing that I noticed is he went for the jerky every time. So that one is definitely his above all treat. So that's really good to know, because you want to use your above all treat for things like recall and counter conditioning for things like reactivity, fear, anxiety, those sorts of things. You want to use your highest value of treat for only those things. The next thing that I noticed was that the second time Melvin actually ate the apple before any of the other ones, but I actually think that that was just because the apple was really close to the jerky. I don't think he was actually doing that one, so we're gonna set that one aside. His next one in both taste tests was the cheese. So he definitely prefers jerky over cheese, but cheese is still pretty high on his preference scale. Then he ate the turkey after the cheese. After that came the Taffy's Treats, which was, I think, peanut butter and bacon, but it was a dry, crunchy treat, so I kind of expected that to be a little bit lower. This was actually kind of surprising to me. He actually preferred the carrot over any of the fruits, which is kind of funny. I didn't expect that. Typically, the dogs like the fruits better, but maybe Melvin's just a different kind of guy. Then, surprisingly, he put the kibble before any of the fruits both times, which that was really surprising to me because he doesn't seem to want to work for the kibble very much, but he will work for the fruits. But I think the only reason that he works for the fruit better than the kibble is because he doesn't get fruit for his daily meal. But then our lowest value would be the apple and the banana, which again, I pretty much expected. Once you do this with your dog, you'll be able to tell what their preferences are and their rating for each of the treats that you have. However, it's not very useful unless you know how to use this information. So the way that I like to use this information is, like I said, with the very first treat that your dog goes to every time, that is reserved only for recall and counter conditioning to their extreme fears. I wouldn't use that treat for minor fears unless your dog doesn't have any fear at all except for that one minor thing. I would use it for that circumstance. But especially for recall, that's how positive reinforcement trainers get that super solid recall without using aversives. It's by reserving a super awesome thing that you only receive during recall. Makes it a super exciting activity, and it's also really easy for the human. So the next few treats in your lineup, so for Melvin that would be cheese and turkey. Those are things that I would reserve for difficult behaviors or behaviors outside of the home. So in new environments that they're not as comfortable in, or if they do something really, really awesome, you can jackpot them with this level of treat. The mid-level treats, so for Melvin, that would be the carrot, surprisingly, and the little peanut butter bacon dry treats. Those would be used for things like training something new at home, lower difficulty behaviors out in public, things like sit and down because most dogs have that down pretty well, those sorts of things, but not your lowest value. So I would use these out in public, but not very often. Most of the time I'm working in the higher levels when I'm out in public, but if it was a really quiet area, I might use these kind of mid-low level value treats. Then we have our lowest value. So that was the fruits and the kibble. These I usually use at home. I use these for pretty much any behavior that we train. If it's something he's done for a very long time, I just use his daily food. If it's something new or something like our scent work where it's a little bit more difficult, I will use the fruits because they seem to be a little bit more engaging for him. But yeah, I like to reserve those lower value treats for at home, but I also, when my dogs are more advanced, like my 2-year-old lab, I do use low value treats for her really well-known behaviors like sit down, heel if it's in a very comfortable location, those sorts of things. I hope you learned a lot by watching this, and I hope you go and try out your taste test on your own. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know which treat do you think your dog's favorite is. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm curious to know if it's the same as my dog's. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a video, and I will see you next week. Bye!